Okay, I am not sure what that is. I am not sure what that is. I am not sure what that Oh my God. I was freaking myself out. It's like, oh my God, my computer has a freaking ghost. But I had YouTube open in a different tab because I was sending somebody the link to the live stream, and that was playing in the background, and then it was echoing and hey everybody, welcome to Thursday Night Live. So my question for tonight, and I could probably spend a couple of hours on this topic, but I'm just going to focus on one area. And the question is, who gave them the right? So there's been a lot of talk about high-tech industries being released on communities. And basically the residents, meaning you and me, have absolutely no say and no vote on their incorporation. And what is happening is that decisions are being made somewhere, whether it's the state, local, state, or federal level, that are saying okay to these high-tech devices, high-tech industries moving into our communities, but we don't know that it's happening. We don't know anything until it is too late. So that, my friends, is what we're going to be talking about tonight on Thursday Night Live. So the first thing that I want to address are data centers. Data centers are popping up all over the place. Now, what they're going to be used for, I mean, obviously AI is on the move. The industry is getting bigger and bigger. There isn't anything that you can't touch that doesn't have some kind of AI thing built into it. If you're on a website, the chat thing is AI generated. If you are making a phone call to a business, half the time it's like, well, maybe I can help you. And it's like, no, representative, I don't want to talk to you, AI bot, because you're stupid. And so that obviously is going to need computing power. But how much do we really need? How much do we really need? And actually, all right, I don't know how long ago, but I'll say today, President Trump basically said that, you know, we should just become okay with data centers because they're okay and they're good for us. Okay. So, you know, so basically what they're saying is that local communities can sit there and approve the construction of a data center because it goes through planning and zoning and does not need to have the community approve the data center going in. But what they don't consider is the amount of electricity that these data centers require, or the amount of water that these data centers require, and the impact of that heavy load on the community, and their needs, their electric and their water needs. And so it just doesn't seem very fair, you know, for them to just come in and build these things and then affect everybody around them. One of the things that I heard or that I read was that some of these data centers, okay, so there have been a lot of complaints about noise, you know, and how it's vibrating their windows. And so one reason that would make sense to me of why they're so loud and they're vibrating windows is that some data centers, instead of tapping into the local electrical energy, which, by the way, the electrical energy cannot be solar, it cannot be wind, it cannot be any of these alternative energy sources because they're inconsistent. And it's more important for them to not have a brownout and have their electricity interrupted, but yours can. It's all okay. But anyway, but many of these data centers are actually run on generators. And so if you have like a generator that you use when the power goes out at your house, take that and multiply it by, I'm going to say 50 times. There are industrial generators that have got to be like 8 or 10 feet wide by 15 or 20 feet long. I mean, they are massive, massive engines. And when they run, if they're not enclosed in some kind of an airtight container, they are loud, loud, loud. And we're not talking about one generator, creating energy for the whole data center. We're talking about banks of generators, which I can't even imagine if I have a data center across the street from me, how loud that noise would be and how much vibration there would be. And it would just be awful, awful. And then one of the other things that I saw was that these data centers, I mean, there's the water usage, and you just really can't guess what that is. And so a data center requires 300 to 500,000 gallons of water a day. And that's the amount of water that is a small city uses about 50,000 gallons of water a day. And so putting that kind of a strain on a municipal water system, I got nothing for it. Again, why weren't these communities consulted? Why wasn't the infrastructure put in prior to these data centers going in? They knew how much water they were going to need. They knew how much electricity they were going to need. And they should have, planning and zoning in these areas should have required them to get their utilities in place and not impact the community. But they impacted the community. So again, why wasn't the community asked? Not right. And so, okay, so this one was really funny. Speaking about the water. And so Google, Microsoft, and Meta have made water replenishment commitments that they will replenish more water into the water system. I don't even know how they would do that than their facility uses. But it's a water replenishment commitment, but they could commit to replenishing the water, in the year 2085, that, that's not really like we're doing it today. It's just a commitment that we're going to do it. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. I personally don't believe it. I don't believe it. One of the other things that it's like, well, who gave you permission for are and I'm going to start with the flock cameras because that has been getting just so much airtime lately. So a flock we're out on the street, and as you go by, it just registers your license plate, which who really wants them doing that in the first place? But okay, there's that part. And so, but they can use that to find you if you do something nefarious, much easier. But what could go wrong? They're just like documenting your license plate. I'm not doing anything bad or anything. But how can it go wrong? So one woman was arrested. Okay, so this wasn't from a flock camera, but there's all of this surveillance stuff going on. And so she was arrested because there was facial recognition software used at a store or something. And she was arrested for the crime in a state that she doesn't live in, that she has never visited. And it took her months. They like picked her up, put her in jail for this crime that she had no involvement with. She had to engage lawyers, and she spent time in jail, and it took months and months to clear her name based on AI facial recognition that said, "Up, that's the broad. Go pick her up, 3 states away." Obviously, they didn't catch her license plate number on the flock camera while she was committing that crime. Apparently not. Went back to the flock cameras. So there have been a number of police officers who have accessed the flock camera data and have used it to track people like family members outside of official businesses, outside of official business. And so they have been separated from their employment. I've also heard stories of the flock camera data being hacked already. So whatever data they have in there is not safe. And if they can hack in to take data, that there's nothing to say that they can't hack in and put in data. You know, like, hey, I want to get you accused of a crime, so I'm just going to like put in data and put your license plate in. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff. There's facial surveillance stuff that's going up in different areas. There have been people posting videos of these flock cameras in a park. Okay, there's no license plates in a park, and there's no license plates in a wooded area. So that doesn't even make any sense at all. You know, and then what are the chances of some outside person getting access to this data and using it against you? It's possible. But speaking about this data, you know, because what these things do is they read the information. See, this is why we need the data centers. They read the information and then they just store it on the cloud, and you know, and then they can access it at any point in time. I mean, there's not any requirement necessarily for them to delete it. And so I want to use the case of Nancy Guthrie as an example. Excuse me. So as you know, Nancy Guthrie was abducted, I don't know, I want to say like a year ago. And it was all over the news, everywhere. This 84 woman, her daughter worked for, you know, a news organization, and it was like the only, I mean, I hate to belittle it, you know, like she was the only person that's ever been abducted, you know, but it got wall-to-wall news coverage. And so they finally posted some doorbell footage of some guy in a mask at her door. But you have to sit there and kind of unwind the scene a little bit. So Nancy had a Google Nest bell. So it's kind of like a Ring doorbell that, you know, if it's activity sets it off, it will record. But Nancy didn't pay for the subscription for her data to be stored. You know, she was using it like a doorbell, you know, and if somebody rings the bell, she can look on her phone and see who's at the door, you know, as a security camera. And so you had to pay a subscription for you to be able to go and access past data. Well, she didn't have that subscription. However, law enforcement subpoenaed her account, and they managed to get those videos of that guy on her porch. So what that says is, even if you are not paying the subscription, that data is being stored there, and somebody can get it if they really want to. Scary. It's just scary. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave that. Oh, and in addition to Flock, which is the company name, there's a company called Axon who is also doing the license plate cameras, except theirs are mounted onto light posts. And it's actually, their product is called Light Post. Then there's another one, and I just heard about this one, and Raylan McBride is doing a piece on it that will drop next week, where there's something called safe cam, safe something, where, okay, so, you know, you go into the store and there are those dome cameras in the ceiling, in the different aisles. Well, now they have software that takes that camera footage and does a biometric reading off of you and stores it in their system. And so if you do something and you're flagged as an offender, then that information, so let's say you go to Kroger and you shoplift something, or they think you shoplift something, or you have bad hair and you're wearing funky clothes and they put a little check next to your name, bad person, and you go to a Kroger in a different store, that Kroger at the different location is going to be alerted that you have walked in the store and they should watch you or be wary of you. Now, how could that possibly go wrong in any sense of the word? Now, they say that if you are not identified as a bad person, the data is taken off their system in a second. And if you are, it stays on there longer. Again, Nancy Guthrie, she didn't pay for her subscription, but they still had all the information that was coming off of her doorbell camera. So I don't know where we're going. All I know is that we didn't ask for this. We didn't give them permission to do this. I don't really have an answer of how to stop it. I would say, write to your congressman, but I don't like any of them right now anyway. Breathe a lot, pray a lot, and do what you do. But obviously don't do anything bad because they're just going to come to your door and get you. So that's my thing for today, our soul healer moment. And as always, if you would like to schedule a private consultation with me, please go to my webpage, soulhealer.com. It is loaded with articles and information. I drop a new article probably every 2 weeks. You can also find those articles on my Substack account, which is at Dr. Rita Louise on Substack. I mentioned Raylan. You can check out Raylan and his tinfoil hat videos at the Bark of Reason on YouTube. He has his own personal channel. And if you're watching this episode or watching this show on a platform like BitChute or Rumble or wherever you might happen to catch it, and you want to join in the conversation, the best place to go is to my YouTube channel. And that's at Just Energy Radio on YouTube, at Just Energy Radio on YouTube, 7 p.m. Central. I would love to see you here. You can get a free on-air psychic reading, which we are going to roll into just in a second. And as always, I would just really appreciate it if you would go, where are you? I clicked on you. There we go. If you would go to my different channels, like if you're here watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel, set the notifications up. I'm at Dr. Rita Louise on Substack, Dr. Rita Louise on Twitter, and Psychic Doc on Rumble. I'm everywhere. Just look for the poodle in the tinfoil hat, because that would be me. But I would just really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to the channels, because that just helps me and my metric. And it'll keep you informed of what I have going on. Okie dokie. Okay. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Okay, so here are the rules of engagement. If you would like to get a reading, all you need to do is go into the chat area and say, hey, Dr. Rita Louise, your hair looks amazing today. And actually, it kind of looks good. I'd like to get a reading, and then provide me with a number between 1 and 3. And that's how many times I will shuffle the cards on your behalf. And then I will pull a card for you. Now, if the line of people seems really long, there's several things that you can do. And hopefully this is going to work. No, for paying as much money I do for this software, you would think it would work better. I mean, except if I have like the show open in a different browser and then I'm getting reverb and weird stuff and freaking myself out. Anyway, but other things you can do is you can jump the line. So if you want to make sure that you get your reading, All you need to do is go to soulhealer.com/live. That's soulhealer.com/live. Click the jump the line button, and I will get a notification, and you will be the person next in line to get a reading. If you have a specific question you would like to ask, like, hey, Dr. Rita, I just started this relationship. What do you think? You can do that there. Just click the Ask Dr. Rita link, put your question in, and again, you will jump the line and be next. And also, if you're enjoying the programming, you're enjoying the message, you like the reading that you get, soulhealer.com/live, you can leave me a little something in the tip jar. Okay, and actually, let me, because I already had a thing. Okay, so we're starting off with Amy. She has a question in the Ask Dr. Rita area. Please be as specific as possible. Austin needs a health reading in Italy. He was hurt diving due to terrible waves and strong currents and will be in bed at least for a couple of days. That's all I know. Okay, Miss Amy. Okay, let's see. Austin, buddy. Okay, so Amy, I don't know if where he's staying has a bathtub, but him taking like hot Epsom salt baths would just help kind of draw out the bruising. I mean, he seems okay. He seems bruised. I don't get the impression that he's broken anything. I mean, other than his feelings are a little bit hurt. And he should just take some time. I would recommend, I don't like, recommending mainstream medication or anything like that, but, taking some kind of anti-inflammatory like Aleve or ibuprofen, just to help with the inflammation, because I'm assuming where he's at, finding a health food store might be a little bit challenging, but getting an aspirin is going to be a lot easier. That would be also my suggestion as well. I get the feeling that it's going to take I'm feeling like 2 or 3 days before he's really even going to want to even move around. But I feel like by the beginning of next week, he should be more mobile. I mean, I think it's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, I just feel like he's like black and blue everywhere. Thus, the baths, ice on the worst spot, ice packs on those areas will also help with some of the inflammation that's going on. So, and if you have another question about that, just put it in the chat, Amy, okay? Okay, well, we are starting off on a roll today. Okay. And we got a payment from Yvonne. Let's see. Okay, so Yvonne jumped the line. Man, we're getting all kinds of stuff today. Yvonne jumped the line, and she would like a number 2. So Yvonne, I'm going to clear the cards here real fast. And then I will do your number 2. Okay, so actually, Yvonne, before I get to you, so before the episode started, I was chit-chatting in the chat, and ERRT Radio called these cards math cards, like 2 and 2 is 4 math cards. And these are called mask cards, like M-A-S-K, mask. And so I told him if I saw one, I would pull it out of the deck. So I'm going to do a close-up. So where's one of the creepy ones? Okay, so if you look up close, these people don't have eyes. And like you can see, they're kind of, it's just a face. There's not anything behind the face. Thus, it's fake, and it's a mask. It's the mask that people wear, and they put on the outside because they don't want to look on the inside, which is why I always look behind. Okay, Yvonne, now I'm going to mix your number 2. All right, Miss Yvonne, let's see. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, so Yvonne, like, I don't know what funk you were in last week because your energy just seemed off, but I feel like it is feeling better today. I am feeling like you are feeling more hopeful and brighter and more ready and willing to put your energy into something. I get the feeling that you are really practicing listening and making sure that what, like, it's not like, oh, I should be doing this, but it's more coming from the heart, like, this is what I should be doing. That it's more soul directed versus ego directed. Mm-hmm. And Yvonne, and I don't recall ever saying this to you, but really, really work on having gratitude right now. So I don't know if that's something that you haven't traditionally done or don't do that often, but I'm feeling like in this period, finding gratitude for the things that are going on in your life would just accelerate that energy more. And I'm saying that to Yvonne, but I think for everybody, having and expressing gratitude for things that are happening just bring you more good things. So anyway, okay. Next, we have ERRT Radio, and he says, happy Thursday, Dr. Rita. Your hair looks amazing. Your stylist is very talented. Okay. May I have a reading number 3? Thank you. You sure can, ERRT Radio. Okay, and let's see what you got. All right, and that is your card for today. Okay, so ERRT Radio, I get the impression that you have been working out a lot of details. I'm going to say in your mind, but taking these kind of big ideas and really bringing them down to being more concrete, more actionable steps. I'm not necessarily feeling that you've taken the steps yet, but that's not a criticism in any way. But I feel like you are taking something that was big and a thought and are breaking it down into, okay, well, I need to do this and I need to do that. Oh, well, wait a minute. What about this? Oh, okay, I got to fix for that. And just really kind of working out and navigating how to move forward in a organized manner versus just kind of like, throwing paint at the wall and hoping that it sticks. So cool. All right. Okay, we have Poonja, and she says, hello, Dr. Rita. You are doing good. May I have a message number 1, please? And Miss Poonja, you sure can. And that's your card for today. So, Miss Poonja, I get the impression that there has been something going on around you. I feel like this isn't necessarily directed at you. I'm not even sure what I'm saying. Anyway, I just get the impression that there has been stuff going on around you, and you are feeling the pull to comply, or they are trying to pull you to comply, and you just really aren't having it. I feel like you have made the commitment to yourself, at least best you can, to really just listen to yourself, listen to that inner voice and inner being, listen to your guides. Even if it seems like, you know, like everybody's going this way, but your gut is saying, I need to go do this. And you are doing that. And so if that's something new for you, congratulations. I feel like you have really embraced that energy. I feel like you're kind of tired of going along with the pack just to feel included in the pack, because I feel like you think the pack is, they're just stupid and really don't have your needs and wants and desires and values in the same place. So good. All right, it's Miss Wave Lady. Hey, Miss Wave Lady. And she says, good evening, Dr. Rita and friends. May I have a 3 tonight? Thank you. You sure can. Okay. And that's your card for today. And as always, if this your reading is resonating with you, okay, other than leaving like a little something in the tip jar at soulhealer.com/live, I would love to get feedback on what you think. Okay. Okay. All right. So Miss Wave Lady, let's see. So Miss Wave Lady, I don't want to say that there's confusion in your space, but I feel like everything seems to be moving too fast for you, and you're having, it's being challenging for you to kind of like grasp onto one thing or find a good foothold. And I feel like it's that part that's creating anxiety. So maybe you're experiencing anxiety, but it's because things are moving so fast that you can't really latch on to anything. Okay, so they are suggesting that maybe you should just let go and roll with it and let it take you wherever it's going to go, and enjoy the ride of not knowing, because I feel like they keep showing me this fun image. They keep showing me this picture of you like on the top of a grass covered hill, and are rolling down the hill or just laughing and laughing because you're having so much fun. You know, so maybe it's just time to let go right now. I'm not saying forever, but right now, and allow that to do whatever and just roll with it, and not trying to have it be one way or the other, because it's creating more internal issues for you than it would be to just accept that this is just where it is right now and I can't control it. Because, girl, you can't control it right now. It's not in your control. Okay, let's see. And then there's Amy, and she wrote this earlier. So let's see. Hi, Dr. Rita. Another wonderful Thursday. Hope your week was good. I have a number 3. And so, Amy, I'm doing this one for you, even though you did do the Ask Dr. Rita. Okay, so ERRT radio. Here's another one. This one actually is good. But see, like the guy on the top, like there's nothing back there. So here's the deal with these cards. So a friend of mine had this deck, and they were originally designed for doing dream interpretation, which I do not do because I really don't dream. I mean, I'm sure I dream, but I don't remember my dreams. And I would flip through the cards because I found them intriguing. And then I would hit those mask cards And I have to tell you, they creeped me out. I did not like them. And I wanted to go get another deck, and they just kept calling me and calling me and calling me. And now this is really the only deck I read. I love this deck. You know, I have come to figure out how those mask cards come in the Rita world of things. And I think that it becomes pretty accurate, where I sit there and I use that card to identify where there is a blockage, or you don't want to look at something, or there's separation. Okay, Amy, that's your card right there. So Amy, this is very interesting. So I'm gonna go with the Austin angle here. You know, so I'm sensing a very different energy in you. It's like, obviously you feel concerned and you feel alarm, but I feel like you are in kind of this place of separation where in the past, I'll just say in the past, you'd be making 500 phone calls and you'd be thinking about getting on an airplane and you'd be trying to do this and trying to like navigate all of this stuff. And while you're there and you're very supportive, etc., it's like there isn't this giant need, you know, for you to like immerse yourself in the middle of this whole thing. And I feel like it's kind of a new feeling. It's kind of a new energy. So maybe they brought that up so that you could notice it and notice that level of separation that you're having right now. It feels very healthy. Okay. I think that's the biggest point, is that it feels very healthy to me. You're there, you're concerned, but you are not, you know, the word I want to use is enabling it. You know, you're not like getting right in the middle of the whole thing and trying to manage it. That's the word. You're not trying to manage it. You're just supporting it. And I feel like that's kind of a new dynamic for you. So own that and look at that and notice how different that feels to your body. And I hope Austin is okay. I mean, I think he's okay. I think he's just really banged up. Okay, let's see. All right, Don. He says, howdy, Dr. Rita. I hope you are beating the heat. Now I know what a candle feels like. Can I get a reading number 2? Okay, so this is my view on the heat. I would rather walk on the sun any day of the week than have it be like 10 degrees with wind chill factor and humid, you know, or that wet energy, wet moisture in the air, because that's terrible. And there's not an amount of clothes that you can put on that makes it be better. All right, Don, number 2. And that's your card for today. So Don, you know, and I don't even want to like bring this up. So it's interesting. Okay, so I feel like you're not having a bad brain day. So there's that. But I'm feeling like external pressure of what you should do. I don't know. It's just really weird because it's just like right behind you. You know, that you should be doing something. You should be complying. You should, I know you should. I'm just going to leave it there. You should. And I feel like you're kind of noticing it and not really sure what you're supposed to be doing with that. And I would like for you to notice that and pay attention to that, and then maybe ask that energy, that feeling, have it come around and stand in front of you and ask, who are you and what do you want from me? I mean, I feel like this is an opportunity to take that undesirable energy and programming that tortures you and get some clarification and some separation from it. And I hope that makes sense to you. And I would be open, Don, just to you, if you want to ask a follow-up question on that, because I feel like they're trying to be very specific, but I'm not sure how to be specific to you because I'm not sure where your vocabulary is. So I will be open to a follow-up question on that. Okay, let's see. And we have Pearl. Hi, Pearl. And it says, hello, all. Dr. Rita, I'm here to see that gorgeous hair. May I please have a reading with a shuffle number 2? And you sure can, Pearl. Uh-oh, Pearl. Ooh, and you got the one with the scalped head. Okay, so that's your card. So this card indicates that there's something that you don't want to look at. There's a blockage, that there's something you don't want to see, that there's something coming between you and what you want or what you need. So I am just going to pull. All right, we're going to stop there because the card after this one was another mask card, but I felt like that was some pretty good clearing right there. So we're going to go. So not too bad. Okay, so Pearl, I get the impression that you're in a situation right now where you are feeling compelled to give up your autonomy. I feel like you're almost like being given a choice, like, do I do this? Do I help these people? Do I like go over here? Or do I choose me and my happiness? And I feel like what's going on right now is about you choosing you. And the mask card sitting on top of that says that many times you don't choose you. And it's interesting because when I look at that energy and that dynamic, I feel like there's not a whole lot of permission, or there has not been a whole lot of permission for you to do that. And so maybe that's why it's coming up, especially if there really is a situation where, you know, there's this pressure and you're feeling like you should do something because it would make somebody else's life easier or better or funner or whatever. Examine that and maybe not do that. Maybe do what brings you joy instead. Okay, and we're going to bury that one. I'm going to take that second one and stick that down to the bottom too. All right. All right, let's see. So Don or ERRT Radio said, so mask cards mean the person is blocking some energy they've got to fix. I mean, in the general sense of the word, that's how I would use it, you know, or there's something they're not looking at, but there's something getting in between who they are and what they want and their experience of the world. So. Okay, I don't know what that's about. Let's see. And it's Christine. I have to tell you, I can't see anymore. And I'm like, it's something. And she would like a number 3. You sure can, Christine. All right, Miss Christine, and that's your card for today. So Christine, I mean, this seems a little unusual for you, but I just am feeling like you have anxiety in your body. I mean, I just feel like you are tight. Um, you know, and I just feel like, you know, you're like your stomach's tight, it's kind of locked down, right? Um, Okay. So I was just like, what I was doing is I was looking at the world around you, you know, so external to you, and I'm not getting that there is something out there that is creating this for you. Um, I mean, I feel like you are like, there's a decision that you are working on making, and I feel like it's a pretty epic decision. Um, you know, that doesn't really have anything to do with those people, that it really has to do with you and you moving forward. I get the impression that you really already know what the decision is. You just haven't fully owned it yourself and you have not started moving forward on it. I feel like the only thing that is keeping you from saying, okay, that's my decision, is the fear that's sitting around it. And so if I'm hitting here, um, you know, just accept that that thing or that direction or whatever that is it. Even if it scares the crap out of me or makes me uncomfortable or I don't really know what the outcome is going to be, which is fear, that is the thing. And, you know, just being true to yourself and true to your heart and going that direction. Oh, again, if these readings are resonating with you, I would love to hear your feedback. And we have Jess. Hey, Jess. Hi there, Dr. Rita. Your hair looks fabulous as always. May I have a number 3, please? Thank you so much. You sure can, Jess. Okay, and that's your card for today. Okay, so Jess, interesting energy that's coming up today. So I want to say to you, and I'm going to say this very directly, it's time for you to stop judging yourself and being so freaking brutal on yourself. I get the impression that, you know, when other people do stuff, that you can be very accepting and accommodating of them. But if you do something and, you know, and it doesn't come out perfect or it doesn't come out in the way that you think it should, it's like, man, your inner critic seems like it just like goes on overdrive and just comes after you. And it makes it so that it takes the fun and it takes the joy out of things and also out of learning. It's like you can't sit there and learn how to be better at something if you don't try and if you don't screw up in the process. Okay, I never screw up. No, just kidding. But you know that you don't have those learning experiences for you to grow on. And if you are constantly going after yourself because it didn't come out as perfect as you thought, or you made a commitment to yourself but you really kind of didn't do it, like, I'm going to go on this diet, and then, like, you know, 3 days later you're eating pizza. You know, it's not something to quit the diet about. It's just something to go, oh, okay, I'm going to do better, and then continue on that path moving forward without the without beating yourself up in the meantime. You know, accept yourself as you are. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay. And we have Lynn Morse. Hi, Lynn Morse. Morse. Okay, and we have Kali. I think I'm saying that right. Hello, Dr. Rita. May I have a number 1, please? You sure can, Kali. Oops, I did too. Is that okay? Because I'm a space case. So Kali, are you a new person? Okay, so I have to tell you, and I just am kind of hoping that she shows up. So I was at the supermarket today in the clearance aisle looking for some stuff and got into this conversation with this woman. We blabbed for at least a half hour talking conspiracy theories and all this stuff that's going on the planet. So I gave her a link to the show. I'm really hoping that she comes because she's really cool. She's one of us. She's one of us. Anyway, so I'm hoping that I recognize her. And if she's here and, she's further down the list, hey, I'm glad that you made it. Okay, so Kali, here's your card. All right, and that's your card for today. Okay, so Kali, I get the impression that I am going to say, even though this card doesn't say this, but I'm just going to say this about you. I feel like your body's kind of in a release place right now. I feel like, in the last, I don't know, few weeks recently, there's just been a lot going on, a lot for you to process, just kind of overwhelming. And I feel like that's kind of calmed down, and your body is just really trying to let go, regroup, get back in sync to where you normally are. So if you are experiencing tiredness or confusion, or, you're just like not on, it's because you're in a release cycle right now. So cut yourself some slack, be extra nice to yourself while you go through this period. Because sometimes it's like we're not even sure we're in release mode, and then we're like, God, all I did was lay on the sofa. And it's like, yeah, but you're in release mode, and maybe that's okay. Okay? Okay. All right, so Lynn says she would like a number 2. So I'm guessing she means like number 2 and not TOO. So, Lynn, didn't I just do? All right, see now. Okay, maybe I didn't do a reading for you. All right, Lynn, here's your number 2. All right, Lynn, here's your card. So Lynn, when I look at your energy, the first thing that I'm getting is that, you just want the world to stop. I feel like you just want to have some breathing room right now. I feel like you enjoy, I'm going to say, learning and growing. I feel like you enjoy moving through life with purpose. And I feel like with everything that's going on and all of the activity, it's really like interfering with your groove and interfering with your flow. And I don't really have an answer to that per se. Other than like doing the basic things, meditating, breathing, tapping, going for walks, hugging trees, those kind of things. I'm going to say that, the energy on the planet pretty much sucks right now. And so even the thought of grounding deep into the earth is kind of painful. And I think a lot of people are just kind of avoiding it because it doesn't feel good. I mean, it just doesn't feel good. And when we're not real grounded, we're just kind of making it through day by day. And so if that's what you're thinking and that's what you're feeling, girl, you're not alone. You're not alone. You know, and just try to navigate best you can, okay? Yvonne, hey, Miss Yvonne. And she says, hello, Dr. Rita, hair amazing, number 2, please, and thank you. You sure can, Yvonne. And that's your card for today. Okay. So Yvonne, I'm kind of sensing some like tension. Where I'm really feeling is in your stomach area, like right below the rib cage. I feel like it's been very challenging for you to relax. I get the impression that you don't really know why you're not relaxing. Okay, so they're giving me something very different for you. They are suggesting for you to take like some essential oil, you know, and I would mix it in a carrier oil and actually rub it into that area. You know, like a lavender. I mean, I'm allergic to lavender, but a lavender I think would be good, or you know, like a sandalwood or frankincense, one of those kind of energies to just kind of help the body to physical. You know, I call them hot stinky baths, where I take all my oils and I throw them in with Epsom salt and I take a bath. You know, if you could do that, that would be good too. But doing things to help your body relax, doing yoga, doing some stretching, I think would be very beneficial for you right now. Okay. And we have Nancy. I'm just going to say Nancy, not even going to try to figure the rest out. Hi, Nancy. Hello, Dr. Rita. Your hair looks lovely. I have a number 2 card. You sure can. Okay, Nancy, that's your card for today. So Nancy, it's like when I'm looking at your energy, everything just seems really kind of turned down. You know, and I'm going to use the word, it seems a little bit depressed. I don't get the impression that in general, you're a depressed person. I get the impression that you can get depressed, like not in a clinical way, but just be like overwhelmed and overrun. And I feel like you're kind of in that period right now. I feel like you're really sensitive to the planet. And so that's being reflected in you right now. You know, so I don't know if you have energetic tools to work with. Something that I would like to suggest to you. So, and everybody pay attention to this. So this is how you work with a protection mirror. Protection mirror is you imagine your auric field around your body, so around 18 inches around your body, and then imagine that you have a mirror, and this is the shiny side, and you put that mirror on the outside of your auric field. And for you, Nancy, you know, I'm saying like kind of in that third, fourth on the outside aura, and it should help cut down the energy that you are getting hit with and responding to. So, you know, but Nancy's not the only one that has to do it, and you don't even have to buy a mirror. You just have to imagine that you have a mirror and you're putting the mirror right there. So anyway, okay, that was Nancy. Let's see. And it's Ricky. Hey, Ricky. And he says, good afternoon, Dr. Rita. Happy Thursday. You look lovely. Your hair is so amazing. Can I have a number 3? You sure can. Well, you know what? We are like out of freaking time. You know what, Ricky? I'm going to cut you off because we're out of time. You need to come next week. Okay. And I just want to cruise through these messages real fast. We have Living Light. Hi, Living Light. You look like a new name. Interstellar Alliance. We are coming. Thank you. Living the life of yourself and be the best service for all that exists. Thank you. Okay, everybody. It's past time. And Marco's here. Marco. Okay, anyway, guys, it's past time. I'm having boundaries. I didn't even know. I guess I was having too much fun. Anyway, I'm going to cut out. I look forward to seeing you next week. Till then, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. Till then, be blessed.